sir. Grading papers.
You got a funny way of retiring.
Oh, son. And some of them are so bad. So bad. I'm having to deal with some of them that are plagiarized.
Now, students wouldn't do that.
Oh my goodness, and AI is my bane. Oh, that and others. See, they think I'm not gonna change that.
Right. I won't fault them for trying, but I think after they saw several of their buddies get caught, they realized they're probably gonna get caught now.
Oh, they got the talk yesterday morning. And, yeah, I saw Rob get struck on this, and I was talking about this AI involved. Get me in the kitchen. DJ, you in the kitchen. Both of you do. You get them, Pam.
You're in the
Kitchen. Kitchen, DJ, you know.
Just run over it again. No.
I was just looking for an excuse to pinch Al, but
You get done instead.
yeah, you get Dinah too. Dinah didn't wear green either.
Ooh, I forgot.
And neither did Danielle.
And you don't know that I did.
Do I?
You don't know that I did.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I guess I'll do my stuff. Building.
James, you got a call today from one of our sheriff's candidates. Did you get a call from one of our sheriff's candidates today? I put him on you.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, it's good to see everybody here tonight. We've got a full council and good many people out there, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'll call the meeting to order. Jerry, would you open us with prayer?
Let's all pray. Dear Lord, we just thank you once again for the opportunity to come together as a council. And Lord, pray that everything that we say and do would be pleasing to you. Lord, we thank you most of all for your Son, Jesus Christ, and the gift of eternal life. Go with us, watch over and care for us, and be with everyone that's here. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Donna, would you please pray?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time I'll ask the clerk to read the minutes.
Town Council meeting February 17th, 2026. Wedowee Town Council met February 17th, 2026 at the Town Hall. Present were Mayor Cole, DJ Knott, Pam Johnson, Jerry Huddleston, and Dana Chandler. Mayor Cole called the meeting to order and ask Pam Johnson to open with prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and the reading of the minutes. Motion Huddleston and Chandler to pass the minutes as read. Passed unanimously. Old business. Chandler, I don't think we need to sell the land at 102 First Avenue Northwest and discuss it at the work session. Motion Johnson and Huddleston to pass the back-to-school sales tax holiday. Passed unanimously. Motion Huddleston and Knott to name Pam Johnson the voting delegate for the 2026 Municipal Convention. Passed unanimously. Motion Johnson and Chandler to name Jerry Huddleston the alternate voting delegate. Passed unanimously. Excuse me. Mayor Cole addressed the council on the January financial report. Mayor Cole addressed the council with a policy and procedure draft. Motion Johnson and Chandler to allow the Merchants Association to take over the Frog Level Music Festival with the caveat that the town take it back if needed. Passed unanimously. Motion Johnson and Knott to cancel the March the 3rd council meeting. Passed unanimously. Motion Huddleston and Knott to pay the bills. Passed unanimously. Reports. Al Haynes, street light is out behind Maryland, needs replaced. And then we got Craig Dindinger to verify his address to see why he had to pay taxes for the municipality. Motion Johnson and Chandler to have the city of limits surveyed. Passed unanimously. Huddleston, French Park, the visit looked good. Motion Huddleston and Chandler to add the mayor pro tem to the bank accounts. Passed unanimously. Not, speed bumps need to be put by the playground by the middle school. Johnson, on Circle Drive, the fence needs repaired and the gate needs to be locked so no one can use the stairs. Invoices from the fish shop should be turned in soon. Motion Johnson and Huddleston to adjourn. Passed unanimously. Jim, come here, Daniel's office, town clerk.
You've heard the reading of the minutes. Are there any corrections? We can make a couple. Fence and the locking of the gate at the school, that is on school property, that's not on town property. So I think they're gonna take care of that instead of us. And I thought I had one more. Well, it'll come to me later. Is there anything else before we approve the minutes?
When, on that motion, put Merchants Association, was there a dollar figure in that motion as well? Or am I thinking wrong?
We talked about the town continuing to sponsor for $10,000, but I know it was not part of the motion that I made.
Okay.
But I think, Tim, you've already talked to Jack about doing that, right?
Yes, but we'll ask the council to approve that tonight.
Okay.
There's nothing else. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you, and the motion carries. All right, under new business, you each got in your packet a copy of the ethics form. That needs to be filled out, and either you can mail it directly to the state, or you can bring it back to Danielle and she'll mail them for us. But we need, what's the deadline on that?
April the 30th.
April 30th. So you got a little time. If you like me, but April 30th will be on before you know it. Next, Lamar Sims, ask you to press the council.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Lamar Sims. I'm here today to discuss the ongoing problem that has gotten worse on my property. I've been before this committee 4 times, starting on August 5th, August 19th, September the 16th of 2025. And and the last time I was here was probably on October the 23rd, 2025, and a decision was made to approve fixing the problem. Let's be clear, it has been me reaching out, beating the ground, contacting people that are familiar with this matter. As of today, I have never received a call from anyone on this council to discuss this matter. Apart from Ms. Johnson and Mr. Knight, during that time they were not present. Right now, I feel there has never been a sense of urgency in this matter. All I've gotten are delayed tactics in the form of the city now saying the right-of-way belongs to the county. All I know in November 2023, when the mayor hired Ron Yates and his son to come and pay them thousands of dollars over a 3-day period to dig out and put in riprap all the way from the new pharmacy, which includes about 60 feet of pipe, to my property, to add to what was already an issue, and place this pipe on the land. At any time during this process, no one had a concern about the right of way that it belongs to the county. I done went to the county engineer, Justin Rush, and he said the whole time they only own the road past the bridge, Old 431. For some reason, the city came up with a plan to look up old documents to escape accountability. I'm going to say this. According to looking around this room, I feel that if I wasn't a black man actually having this problem, it would have been fixed by now. I also went to the county meeting on December the 8th, 2025, trying to get help. The takeaway from the meeting was an addendum was supposed to be drafted either by the city attorney or the county attorney in reference to the right-of-way. Attorneys should have been contacted in this manner by someone on the council, somebody. I spoke to Chad Lee. I've given him a detailed description of the work to be done with the copy to the mayor code. And I also spoke to Chad Lee yesterday, and he's unclear what needs to be done. And he told me that he forwarded a project estimate to John Tenney. And, my question to the council is what steps will be taken in this matter. That's all I have.
You're right, it has dragged on a long time.
Yeah, I think it's coming up now. I know it's been since the meeting in 5. I think it's been about 8 months now since the approval was made, and nothing was happening.
I've seen the water myself, and Mr. Sims was wonderful about documenting everything. We voted to do it, we need to do it. We need to get faith, we need to do what we said we were gonna do and stand by our word. So it needs to be fixed. And how that happens, I don't know, but we've already approved for it to be done. We need to do it.
Yeah, I got it. This is
I'm
what-
gonna ask you to have an
this
estimate.
is what the strange gave me.
Which train you been leading?
I'm sorry, I missed the copy. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know. Dave Strange Construction.
I would like just cover me on this, since he did give us an estimate with an exact number on it. I would ask the council to approve that.
Approve this estimate.
Yes.
Should we not have more than one estimate? I thought we were required to have more than one estimate.
We need to have more than one estimate.
What other,
That'll lengthen the process.
Well, but I take umbrage. I came out there and looked too. You said never, twice. And I came out there and looked at it and talked to you about it. So, the word never doesn't fit.
Well,
So I
let's
take
be
umbrage with that.
clear, what you wanted to do is what I said, I'm not
But
gonna approve
I
that.
came out there and you said never, you stood right there and said never.
Okay, I said never,
And I did come.
but that was during the process.
But I was
I'm
there.
saying haven't reached out since the meeting, that's what I said. Nobody has reached out to me to the meeting, I'm doing the reaching out to people, trying to get this done.
Okay,
Did we not approve an amount before?
Go check the minutes, but then I believe we.
I think 35,000, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
Wasn't in those minutes.
It wasn't. We never approved an amount. We never had an estimate.
We have discussed
I
it.
think we discussed it.
Yeah.
Well, I can also add that we did have a second estimate when we had Mr. Sims, Mr. Ivor Sims, come and give you an estimate, and we shook hands that day about it. And then you come back, and I guess somebody looked in the laws or something, saying they wasn't comfortable about putting a pipe on my land, which I was trying to give you guys permission to save you some money to run through my land with the pipe, just to get it off my land, just to get it out of my yard.
do we have that estimate? Do you have a copy of it?
Mr. Cole called me, I think probably 2 days later, and said that he didn't feel comfortable doing work on private property to benefit the landowner, which I told him, I said, I'm not looking for any benefit. Whatever I need, I can get it done myself, that's on my property. And here we are, 8 months later.
That's one reason I asked y'all to approve this. I'm not comfortable with it, but I don't know how to fix the problem without being on this one. There may be another way, but I hadn't really seen it yet.
Cause what happened was, I went out and spent thousands of dollars clearing trees, trying to help the city. Then you come back and get stabbed in the back saying, hey, nah, we're not gonna do it on your own property. Cause if I'd known that, I would've kept the tree line there that I had. Now I don't have a tree line because from the right of way, from my property to the right of way is, those trees gonna have to go in order to get the pipe down through there to the other culvert.
Can I make a suggestion? I'm here for this situation. How about we give Mr. Sims a date that this will be done by? That gives us time to do the legwork. He walks away from here knowing that this will be done by this date. We do what we have to do on the back end to figure this out. And I think that that would let everybody walk away from this situation pretty much happy.
You wanna put that in form of motion?
I make a motion to put due by date for Mr. Sims to have this problem rectified in front of his home.
I second that motion.
Who's gonna come up with that thing?
Well, hopefully us.
Okay. No, it's fine, I just wanna be clear about who's gonna come up. And as far as, if my memory serves me right, we asked Chad to draw up a contract so that once this work is done, Mr. Sims can sign off that he's okay with it, we can sign off that we're good with it, and, not responsible, and
That is right. Jerry, we did do that.
So let me be clear, cause like I said, when we talked before, it came up twice that I was gonna let you guys do it. But then I got a call saying, hey, we don't feel comfortable with it to benefit the landowner. And I took it off the table to use my property at that time. So that's why I ended up having the Strange come in with that estimate saying, hey, yep, we gotta do some clearing to get the pipe in there to stay off my land.
This estimate.
That's on the right of way, it's not.
It's all on the right.
Yes, don't have nothing to do with my property.
Okay.
And that right away being us, is that not
Yes.
right? That is our road.
Yeah, Robbie tried to make it big counties, but I don't think he can make them. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with it.
Well, the thing is, we never we have never taken the ownership of the road. There are several roads, as a matter of fact, in our area that we haven't taken ownership of. And, that's why Robbie brought up what he did, because we have not taken ownership, therefore, he assumed that it still belonged to the county. So there's never been an agreement between us.
Well, that's on us, that's not on Mr. Sims. He's done everything in good faith, and he should not be penalized because there cannot be a decision made between the county and the town. We need to get this fixed.
Cause like I said, if it was such a big deal, why not do that at the beginning, before you start tearing up that ditch, putting riprap in there? Nobody thought about asking if it was a county road then, before it was done. But now all of a sudden, hey, it belongs to the county. County said, no, we don't own it. We own it past the bridge. That's what they're saying.
We may not have taken any formal action, but by maintaining that road through the years and maintaining that right of way, I think we have.
But isn't County Road 431 from new 431 around, that is the county, that's County Road 431. Our street is the one that comes by the pharmacy to that road, right?
Well, there's a city limit sign further up the road.
But what I'm saying is though, the county road, that road that goes in front of the pharmacy and the funeral home is our road because it goes in front of those two businesses, okay?
Right.
But it ties into County Road 431, and this is going to be done on County Road 431. That's where I think the issue has been the whole time, and the distinction being made, who owns what. And yeah, we can claim that one if we put the riprap in as being ours, but it's that 431 that comes in, County Road, that the question is coming up. Now, if we accept this, then we're going to go ahead, it will be ours.
I think it's only to the bridge though. Don't go past the bridge.
I understand.
Just the code.
I understand, well, to the city
Cole
limits.
Road.
If we're gonna make it to that, we'll go to the city limits. The city limit will be where our responsibility for the road is, but I think the situation is it's a county road and not a street. We haven't even named it. So, I mean, that's the only thing that I see that where there's an unknown.
I think we have a motion on the floor.
I'm sorry, we do have a motion.
Got a motion and a second, right?
Yes.
So this is discussion. I'm in favor of doing this, and I think the council and the county can work out the details about who's responsible. I'm just saying, just my opinion before we vote, I'm just saying, we just.
Cause I've been trying to deal with Chad, I done talked to him on probably 3 occasions, and he's been trying to get with John Tenney. I think last time John Tenney was out of town, but he had forwarded the estimate to him. And when I asked, I said, well, Chad, what are we doing? And he's looking at me like a deer in the headlights, Lamar, I don't really know. Like nobody has talked to him.
Well, if you went by his property this weekend, it looked like he had a pond in front of his house. There was that much water there. So, and if you go by today, it's not there. So that's a lot of water coming on it.
It's digging into erosion and everything going on right now. I got those 4 big pines that it keeps up. If I don't get them cut, they're gonna fall eventually. So, that's all I have.
All right. I'm gonna say, by the time we meet in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we need to have more than one estimate. And we need to have a written agreement drawn up by our attorney that, well, if we're not keeping it, if we're not going on Mr. Sims' property, then we need an agreement between us and the county. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I would assume that falls on me. All right, we got got a motion and a second on the floor. Would you read that motion?
Can I read that motion?
Yes.
Motion Knight and Johnson to have a due date for the water erosion at Lamar Sims. Motion Knight and Johnson to have a due date for the water erosion at Lamar Sims.
And we can append to that motion that the date is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
In that motion, can we have the right of way on Lamar's property? Is that right? That connects to his property?
And what he's telling me is this is not
This
on
is, it's not on his property, it's the right of way. Well, right now, it lays.
Right now it is. Pipe is on mine about
Yeah.
5 feet.
Yeah.
And, you know, once you move it, you know, get it
I
off
see what
mine.
you're saying. I see.
So you're
Come on,
60
I'm
feet
good.
from the
Yeah.
center, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
All minds clear? Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you, motion carries. Next, coming up on the list of municipalities convention that will be held in Montgomery, I believe, April 28th to May 1st. If you would like to go, let Danielle know so she can get you registered. Next item is a financial report. Well, y'all had an opportunity to look at it, look over it, just a minute. And we'll address it. When you're comfortable with it, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So is the telephone bill just split evenly amongst the departments?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a reason for that? I'm just asking, I'm just kidding.
No, that's just how the deal falls.
Hmm.
That's how the deal falls up under Brightspeed.
with the front page of the bank statement.
Okay. Of all the bank statements.
Of that month, yes. Yes.
I second that.
Motion is second, discussion. Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you, the motion carries. Gary Walker, you're up.
Profit and loss, monthly report, this will actually be for January and February for the utility board. We did have $196,000, on here as receipts that were due in 2025, that were not paid until 2026. We started the accrual-based accounting in January 1st. We did get, permission from the state auditors, since that was not paid until this year, and we started a new system to put that $196,000 back into 2025. So this is all clean, starting January 1st, with a net income at the end of January, $44,790.01. Net income for February 2026 of $148,625.95, with a total at the end of February of $193,415.96. We will have, hopefully by the next report, next month, a balance sheet with all assets and inventory and all of that. We're still gathering that for the accountants. Any questions on the report?
Any questions for Becky?
Good job. Thank you. I have a few other things. At our last utility board meeting on March 11th, 2026, a motion was made by Richard Traylor and seconded by Tony Bird that due to a conflict of interest, that the original language to the certificate of incorporation dated December 7th, 1950 be restored. The motion was carried. We are also proposing to the council to vote and pass by majority that the language of the certificate of incorporation dated December 7th, 1950 be restored. The language states that none of the town council or mayor will serve on the utility board.
So you want that in a motion?
A motion for you all to approve.
I make a motion, we approve the new wording for bylaws.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you, motion carries.
The utility board and the town of Wedowee are separate entities and should stand on their own with most things. However, some things are necessary and legal. But in a commingling situation, there needs to be clarification and operating improvements. These are a must to provide proper accounting and transparency to employees and citizens. And the first thing on my list is health care. The health care, and someone can tell me if I'm mistaken, the health care insurance is through the town of Wedowee. The personnel policy states that the employee's medical insurance is paid by the board. The family portion is paid by the employees. After 10 years of continuous service, the board will pay family insurance
provided that the employee has paid family coverage during their employment period. The question is, who is responsible and accountable for ensuring the premiums and coverage is accurate? Is it utility board or?
I think that falls on the town because we get the bill.
Okay,
That would, you tell me if I'm wrong there, but that, to me, that seems to be the way it should be, but we have the bill, we can break it down as it should.
okay, so there's a discrepancy, in this because there's an employee that has had family coverage for the last 6 years, and he was paying a small premium for family coverage, which was accurate at that time, but it's never been changed. And there's $60,000+ that has been paid for his insurance, but he has not met the 10-year requirement. So my question is, who does this fall?
Is that's in a utility board employee?
It is.
So is that 50,000, is that something the utility board has paid the town?
That has been paid by the utility board. If I'm accurate in saying, Randy, is our director here, can you respond as far as if we're paying that insurance ourselves, or we're paying that to the city and them paying it?
I believe the way it works, we get a bill from the city, we take out our employee's portion of that bill, we pay the bill, the city gives us, on that. And I think what happened was when that individual came on board, like you just said, that their portion was accurate at that time. But as healthcare costs increased over the last 6 years, that portion never continued to grow as it should, with that portion being a percentage, if that makes sense.
So it's something that, you know, in all fairness to all employees, we need to stop this coverage immediately, unless the person is going to pay it himself, but it's a loss of this much money for this many years that someone should have caught. And it's not to the penny.
I'm confused, so you're saying that he never paid his portion for the standing itself? The town has always paid it?
I'm saying at the time that he started, he was paying the correct amount for the family coverage.
Okay,
But that never changed, and the premiums went up.
okay.
So the difference is, you know, we have paid.
And that's $60,000.
How much?
Plus,
That's a lot of money for insurance per year.
and the total rate now is $2,146 and some change for, the personal person and family coverage, which $804 and some change is for the individual. So it's a difference of $1,437, which he is still paying a very small amount, less than $200 toward that.
Wow.
And what was the total amount of that deficit?
There were some records missing to find out exactly, but based on everything that we saw in the beginning and what we've seen in the last few years, it's $60,000+. So if you take, you know, just right now, there's $1,290 difference in what he was paying and what the premium is now for family coverage.
And this is for one individual.
I'm sorry?
This is for one individual, these numbers that you're giving us?
One individual.
Is he still paying family coverage? Is he paying at the new rate?
No, he's paying at the original rate.
Randy, you got?
Yeah, if you mind, if I could correct a couple numbers there. So the payment is $157 per week, of
Per
pay,
month.
which comes out to like.
Per month.
It's paid weekly, right?
He's paying it weekly?
Yeah, it's paid weekly, so the difference is 600 total, we're missing 600 total per month. So the number you're talking about, the big number comes out the same, it's just, he is paying, basically roughly 600, 153 times 4.3, roughly $600, but we're still missing over $600 per month in cost.
I don't know that that's something we can answer today, but that's, we need to be looking into it together, see. And he needs, that employee needs to be notified, hey, your insurance is going up.
Right. Definitely. And this was just discovered, so we're, we knew we had to do something immediately on this to be fair to all employees.
And so from the town side of that, we need to, I don't know if there's any, it's one policy. Right. One policy with the town and.
Two different payrolls though, so they need to adjust their payroll on that one employee.
Okay. But are there any that need to be adjusted on the town side?
No.
Because we follow the same,
No,
okay,
everything is correct on our side.
all right. Good.
Okay. Next on the list, as far as, something that's, commingled with the town and the utility board, is the lagoon. The lagoon is owned by the town of Wedowee. A grant was applied for by the town, a loan was signed for by the town, but the utility board is paying the loan. The loan is through the Bank of New York Mellon, who is a trustee that holds and administers funds on behalf of another entity. We, the board, need to know where the loan funds were deposited, and need to verify the amount of the deposit and know exactly where we stand for accountability. Does anybody have any thoughts on this?
Well, you're right, we all need to know the answer to that. And I'm assuming the paperwork is here, because we did actually take out the loan, so I think we can get that.
And moving forward, I suggest that we establish an operating agreement between the town and the utility board in a way that's best for the community. I mean, we can't decide that now, but there, my opinion is on anything that both entities are involved in, there needs to be operating agreements or whatever the case may be, so everyone can keep track of the finances. Another thing I wanted to ask about, the utility board owns the building where it exists now, but the police department is also in that building. Has there ever been any kind of lease agreement for the police department to be in that building? No?
Nothing that I can tell you right now. I don't know if there's anything back when we started. I suspect not.
So, like the lagoon, I would say we need to establish some kind of documents for liability concerns there. And as far as, we've been reviewing the real estate that the utility board owns, and not prepared to get any kind of proposal on that, but just letting them know I'll have something together by the next meeting for that. Cell phones is also a thing, the bill comes to the city, correct?
Yes.
And then utility board pays our portion, is that what it is? Is there a reason for that, any reason why we shouldn't separate that to where we get our own bills, or?
I would imagine the reason was that we got a cheaper rate with more
is that, if I look at this, I see a telephone bill that's just split across the departments. Do we just split with the utility board as well?
No, not that telephone. That would be under wireless.
So it's,
Wireless communication.
but you're saying they're all in one, they're all in one bill?
Just the Verizon. That's just the Verizon bill. That is not the telephone and our internet.
So if I look at wireless communication on this, on our profit and loss statement,
Mhm.
put it in, it's $954. That includes
No,
the,
they have their, I break it down in each individual department. So the general fund, that would be me. I have a cell phone, that's $45 a month. D-Trust, she would be under court, that's $45 a month. The police department, theirs is all together. That's probably the $900 that you see. And then our street department as well. And then I break down the utilities, I separate all of their employees from our employees.
so, but it's one bill
Mhm.
that goes out. So the utility board writes us a check.
They don't write the town a check, no, they just write their Verizon check. And I mailed them both off in the same envelope and sent it to Verizon.
So, there you're right, it needs to be broken out, because we shouldn't,
We just need to know
we can't
who
match
who
up,
we're
we can't take
paying
an
for.
invoice and match up to a check.
I'm sorry.
So we won't be able to take an invoice from a phone company and match it up to a check that we wrote.
When you match it up to two checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but we don't have, this is a town, we don't have access to their bank accounts.
No,
But they're paying Verizon, from
Mhm.
what I understand, they're giving a check to Danielle for that amount.
Right.
And it's going in the same check, and envelope as ours is going in, so there's two checks in there, one from them and one from us.
Yes.
Correct.
So,
But again, if I'm looking at our bill and I look at our check, they don't match.
it shouldn't.
They do if you add them up
But
together.
I'm not,
yes.
they don't.
What he's saying is.
What I'm saying is
You don't know what our
town
bill
writes
is.
the check and they've got an invoice to the town. They don't match. We have, the utility board has a check and an invoice that don't match. Because they're intermingled.
If you put the two checks and the invoice together,
Yeah.
Only one invoice.
Yes.
Right, it's one invoice, two checks, I get that, I'm just saying, from a auditing standpoint, that don't sound like that's best practice.
Yes, we don't have a balance of what we're paying for from an accounting standpoint.
Yeah,
Because the total bill, are we getting an invoice from the city for what we have?
that's what
So
you
that
need,
would
that's
make
all
it
you
off.
could be, the invoice from the city for the
Yes.
amount, that's all you need.
Yes, that's all you need. That's what the auditor said, and that's what we do.
so the city invoices the utility board?
I make them a copy of it. They get the first 5 pages of the Verizon bill because it's like 100 and something pages. That's what I keep for myself as well. The same with Blue Cross and State Farm. All 3 of those bills, they get broke down into each department. And then all the employees for the utility board, I break all theirs down and add them together, and that's what they owe. And their bill is always at the top, it says utility, and then it has in pink highlighter what they owe.
Maybe what we need to do is just give them an invoice attached to that, with that, a separate invoice to say, this is what you owe. And then they'll write a check against that, and either check number, and that does away with that. Just a simple one-line invoice saying,
I'm just doing it like the auditors told me to. So,
well, if that would satisfy the accounting process for you.
As long as we have an invoice that we're paying for phone service. The other issue is, as far as making changes, it would be you that had to call and make changes. And, like right now, there is a phone for a previous employee that was relatively new, that was $899, that needs to be canceled, and that phone turned back in. Or if there's any employee in the future that is not on the plan, you know, who is, you know, we don't, all we can do is tell you, you know.
so, right, so her number got swapped over to her own plan. As far as the phone, y'all will have to get that back yourself.
I'm sorry, Daniela.
You'll have to get the phone back yourself, but her phone number has been swapped over to her own plan.
Okay. And what are we gonna do with them?
Y'all can send it back into Verizon.
But you would have to do that.
Yes.
So we bring it to you?
Yes.
And you would handle that? Okay.
So, I'm getting the impression you want that to be separated, and you all have your own Verizon plan or whatever plan. Is
Well,
that what I'm hearing?
To me, it would be better, but I'm okay with an invoice showing exactly what we're paying for.
Okay.
But when we make changes on anything, we need documentation of that as well. We just need documentation of everything that's done in order for the accountant to, you know.
So how many phones do you have?
You know,
Yeah, we have, slightly less than 10. I think there's probably 8 phones, maybe,
Okay.
maybe something like that.
To me, it seems like the best thing for you to do is, Danielle, to write just a simple one, fine, and do it in a form. This is how much you owe it for this month for the phone service. Just give it to y'all, that's for your benefit, and for hers too, and then she can write at the bottom of, paid by check number. And there you go.
I would like to propose that we, as a town council, discuss this in our work session, so that we have time to think about it and look at the best option for both the town and the water board.
Okay.
Next.
Well, if you're gonna make that in the proposal, I think we should.
Yeah.
I second it.
Discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you.
Okay, so this is, I really don't know if this pertains to the city council here, but, I can't seem to get anybody to say they're responsible, but, payroll taxes for Wedowee Utility Board were not filed for 2023, 24, or 25. Who would be responsible for that? Does anybody know?
The water board.
That's on your side.
It's on our side. Okay.
Why weren't they?
All right.
That's the question, why weren't they filed? What was the problem? You take it out of their paychecks, don't you? I mean,
Prepare to make sure I heard that right. Payroll taxes were not paid,
They said they were not paid.
not,
We don't know that yet, but they were not filed. The return was not filed for those 3 years.
so you don't know they weren't paid, because wouldn't the individuals have to have that to file their income tax?
It's gonna be on your W-2.
Yeah. They're gonna have that to pay their income tax
Well,
with their W-2s.
the thing is, I can't make anybody be responsible for telling me who is in charge of doing it. I mean, this is, to me, is, you know, a huge conflict in town and utility board. I mean, all we can do is call the IRS and deal with it. It's just, why did this happen is my question. Why, in 3 years in a row, we didn't file the tax returns?
So, Barry, we took it out of their checks, and you don't know if we actually paid the IRS those dollars.
The accountant has called, she has not contacted, has not heard from anyone yet. This was just, yesterday. And, so we will find out if they've been paid, but the returns were not. So I'm just, and since I was appointed, I'm just trying to put all the pieces together to find out what we owe, balances on things, and where to go from here.
Well, Barry, let me ask you something, because that's one thing I was gonna ask anyway, was when you gave an update, because I was confused about it as well. In one of your meetings in February, you asked the question, who the boss was, and didn't get an answer in that meeting. And so, it sounds like you're here today still asking who was the boss, so that somebody can take some accountability prior to February 3rd. Tim, you retired from the utility board, and then you served as the chairman for nearly 10 years. Who was the boss?
You know, the employees were under, the crew, the crew guy that was doing the work was under Mike Esther. Until he retired, I'm not sure after that. The water department, we have one of them up there is the head of the water, but we just pay the company, we don't pay those employees directly anymore. And in the office, Brenda was in charge.
So Brenda was responsible for filing these and didn't do it.
Okay?
Well, we don't know that she didn't file it, right? You just
They
said.
haven't been filed.
They
We
have
don't
not.
know that, we don't know what has been paid at this point. We should know anytime.
Is that 23 through 25?
23, 24, 25.
So Brenda was the boss, because she adamantly stated in that first meeting she had no authority.
What she stated was she was a contracted part-time employee that did payroll, and she did not make any decisions.
She made the decision not to pay, not to file for 3 years in a row. Well, at least you know who the boss was now. down there.
So, one more thing, and this is very confusing. On February 10th, 2025, Chairman Coe made a motion to transfer $500,000 from a CD into the general fund. Veronica Austin seconded it and motion carried. There's no record of a transfer of these funds in our statements, nor any record from the bank. There's nothing mentioned in any of the utility board minutes after February 10th, 2025. We just need to know what happened there.
We made a motion and then nothing happened.
So there was only the one 500,000 CD that was still received. You made a motion and it carried, but you never transferred it. So in my closing here, I'd just like to say that as the city council appointed me to the utility board and the utility board voted me chairman, it is my responsibility to protect all assets, ensure financial oversight, ethical compliance, and to supervise and evaluate management. This would include separation of duties, proper approval of bonuses, overtime, and payroll advances. It's my commitment to the town of Wedowee that this will be done properly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you.
Any other questions, Barry, or anything about this subject before we move on?
I do. I have another question for Barry. Because this is something else I want to be clear on. So, there's been a lot of discussion about Christmas bonuses and the amounts from the utility board. And I just want to make sure I was clear on this. Were the bonuses approved? Yes, sir.
Not in the minutes.
Not in the minutes. Who signed the checks?
Mayor Coe and Wedowee.
And we've already established that Brenda Boone was the boss in charge. Okay. So, I'm gonna call out some amounts, and you tell me if I'm correct. So the utility board gave out $9,500 to one full-time employee.
Part-time.
One full-time and one part-time, right? Yeah. One part-time and one full-time got a $9,500 bonus. Two other full-time employees got $5,500. The remaining full-time employees got $3,000. All right, totaling somewhere in the neighborhood of over $47,000. Now, on November the 18th, the council approved our Christmas bonuses, and they are in the minutes. 1,000 to three full-time employees, 500 to the remaining full-time employees, and 250 to all part-time employees. Now, Tim, I gotta, who approved, I'm saying the council approves, and there's why the big difference?
I'm not sure I can answer the amount of big difference.
So, who approved those bonuses?
They were in the budget.
When was the budget approved?
Should have been approved like in November, December.
So if it was approved in December, that was after the checks had been written. So they weren't in the budget.
No, that would have been the budget from the previous, say the year was 2025, that budget would have been approved in the end of 2024.
Right, but it ends in September.
I don't believe so with the utility board.
Why would they be on a different calendar?
Well, they are.
But there is a distinction here because that's the utility board and we voted for Town of Wedowee.
Right.
So they can pay what they want to pay and we pay what we're going to pay because haven't you already made that clear? That we're two separate entities?
We are.
We were not the board not the same board.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, it's two separate entities. In other words, the utility board is their own entity, they have their own budget, they set their own pay for scale for their employees. We did for our employees. So it's, what was in the minutes, I guess, for utility board to pay their employees a bonus,
They were not in the minutes. Nothing in the minutes about bonuses.
And that's why my question, the big difference, and then why would the town approve theirs and it not being approved in the utility board? And the one common denominator is Tim, that's why I was asking him, why the difference? But if it wasn't in the minutes, then I'm going to deduce that the boss approved this, and that boss is Brenda Boone, according to Mayor Coe. Okay. Thank you, Barry. That's what we need.
Next on the agenda, you each got a copy of the memorandum of understanding. This, Randy, you drew this up.
I did, yep.
Would you like to talk about it any?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. So some of this probably answers to some of that Barry was talking about a while ago, but I drew up a memo of understanding, again, trying to keep the corporate separation going, right? So in case an auditor comes in, they see these bills commingled and everything. So there's a memo of understanding that I drew up for Tim that basically says we are going out to bid together on health insurance, telephone service, and other consumer things like that, only to get discounts. That in no way it ties the two corporations together. There's no contract in between us or nothing else. It's just for the benefit of the town and benefit of the water board. So.
Any questions for Randy? I'll just go on record as saying that doing this is a good thing.
I agree.
So we need to approve this.
Yes, let's do it.
I make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding, MOU.
There's a
Second.
discussion.
Good job, Randy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it was good.
Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you, motion carries. Next item that didn't make it to the agenda page is the bills to be paid. Has everyone had a chance to review the bills? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make that motion.
Motion by Donna, is there a second?
Second motion, second.
Discussion. Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you. Council reports. Donna, what you got?
I don't have anything.
Jerry?
Well, I do have a couple of things. I made all of y'all a copy of this. Just take one and pass it down. This is a copy of the audit findings for the town of Wedowee for this last audit. And so I just wanted to read over three of them because I do have questions about it. The first one is bank reconciliation. The condition: during our audit, we noted that the town did not perform monthly bank reconciliations for any bank accounts other than the general fund and payroll accounts throughout the fiscal year. Our recommendation: we recommend the town implement procedures to ensure that all bank accounts are reconciled to a general ledger on a monthly basis, and that reconciliations are independently reviewed and approved by management. Management response and corrective action. Town management acknowledges the findings and agrees with the recommendation. The town will implement a reconciliation schedule to ensure that all bank accounts are reconciled monthly, beginning with the October 2024 statements. Town management has reviewed and approved all reconciliations going forward. Has this audit finding been implemented?
I mean, everything's up to date.
So we reconcile every bank account at the end of every month?
Okay, so not every bank account is in the computer. They don't get reconciled through the computer because they are on paper checks. They get reconciled through the bank statements. Like, you know, you have to write it down in the bank book. That's how you reconcile them. So they are getting reconciled. They just didn't come and get the book.
So are they part of this statement that we get? This profit and loss?
All the accounts are not in the computer.
So this doesn't include everything?
No. The fire department has their own account. That is in a regular checkbook. It's not in the QuickBooks. It doesn't belong in the QuickBooks. Our Valorem account does not belong in the QuickBooks.
Okay.
The 7 cent, the 4 cent, gas tax, all of that is in just small checkbooks, regular checkbooks.
Okay.
None of
But
that
you
goes.
did reconcile
Yes, they are reconciled.
So this has been implemented.
Yes. And it has been every year, but they just don't come and get my checkbooks. The auditors don't.
But as a quick way to give us a financial report, it's gonna be difficult because it's not in QuickBooks.
Right. Only a certain amount of
What version of QuickBooks are we on?
the 2024.
All right, well, I'm not sure of all the ins and outs of doing it, but, I am in favor of getting those accounts in some form or fashion in a computer. And so that I don't know if the fire department is writing checks to themselves or who they're writing, you know what I'm saying? We need some sort of, we're accountable to this. And so, I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong, I'm just saying I would like to see some sort of report for every bank account.
That's fine.
And.
I think if you get that first page of the bank statement, if you include that in our, when we do it next, therefore we'll take care of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That'll
Yeah.
take care of all of it.
yeah. All right, the next finding, segregation of duties. During our audit, we noted that the town has only 2 employees who perform most of the accounting and financial reporting functions. Due to the limited number of personnel, there is an inherent lack of segregation of duties within key financial processes. Recommendation, we recommend that the mayor and/or the members of the town council provide additional oversight to compensate for the lack of segregation of duties. Examples of such oversight include reviewing monthly financial statements, approving bank reconciliations, examining cleared checks, and periodically reviewing the budget to actual reports and supporting documentation. Management response and corrective action plan. Management agrees with the finding. Due to the town's small size, it is not feasible to fully segregate the duties. However, the town will implement additional oversight measures. The mayor and council will review and sign off on monthly bank reconciliations and financial statements beginning with the October 2024 reports. All right, so we know this hasn't been implemented because, well, I haven't signed off on any bank reconciliation or seen any bank statements. Have either of, I know you haven't, because we've been talking about transparency for years. So, Tim, is there a plan, or what, October 2024 is, what, 18 months ago?
18 months, yeah. I do review all bank statements every month. And since I signed all the checks, it's not that hard to do.
But they're going to provide that front statement, and so that should take care of that problem. Since you're gonna be doing that, that takes care of that issue too.
So, sort of. I mean, is that first page what we're talking about, does it have all the checks and the amounts?
I mean, that doesn't show you the check numbers, but it tells you how many checks were written, yes.
And the amount of each and who they were for?
No.
Because I think we're gonna need that as well. I wanna know who we're writing checks to and how much. We've already proven the fact that at the utility board prior to February 3rd, they were writing checks, what seems like just whenever the boss wanted to. So, we have the same, Tim is here, he was at the utility board. So, I think we need a copy of the checks with these statements as well.
can we set up, the software so that we could input that into a separate part of the ledger? You know, so that when you're putting in all the data from the checks, can you have a separate ledger, on QuickBooks, which I think we did, we set it up when we were doing it. We had a separate section for each project that we did, each grant that we had, and so we could input that and have a easy.
I can check into it and look.
I think you can do that. Do you know, Barry?
Danielle, do you get, paper statements every month from the banks?
Yes.
Okay. What if we're provided with the front page of the bank statement in our monthly packets, but that you have them in a notebook, all the checks written in a notebook for us to look through as we need to? I personally don't walk around with a stack of things for the checks to be written. I'm perfectly happy having a notebook that we can look through and see all the checks that way. And it's just putting them in there and you bring them to the meeting. Is that okay?
The checks are also in the bank statements.
Yes, yes.
I have no problem with that. I think that's a great idea.
Okay,
I make a motion that we do that.
okay.
We have a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I thought we were gonna
We need
have a
the
work
front
session
page. Yeah,
to determine
Okay.
all this, right?
Excuse me, there might be a simpler way. I know at 911, we have a list of all the checks, who they're to. And I don't know, Kelly Edwards at the 911 might could help you with that. I don't know that we wanna know that, but, there should be a simpler way than her having to write that in a notebook every,
well, I don't think notebook, I think just when you get the statements, put them in a notebook.
okay, you said in a notebook.
Yeah, put them in a notebook and she brings them in, and
Per
we
year?
see the actual checks every month as they come in on a statement, and we can have a copy of the front page that shows what we have and the amount that went out, but then we have the notebook, we can go through and look at for the checks.
Then I withdraw my motion and we will wait till the next meeting, work
Yes.
session.
All right, this last recommendation, recommendation from the audit. Inaccurate employee and employer retirement contributions. During our audit, we noted discrepancies between the employee retirement contributions withheld from payroll and the amounts remitted to the retirement system of Alabama. In addition, employer contribution amounts calculated in the town's accounting records, QuickBooks, did not agree with the amounts remitted to the retirement system of Alabama. We recommend that management periodically review each employee's contribution rate, the employer match percentage, and the total amounts withheld to ensure that payroll records reconcile with the retirement system reports. Reconciliations should be documented and reviewed for accuracy each pay period or at least monthly. Management response and corrective action plan. Management concurs with the finding. The town will review all employee contribution rates and employer match percentages for accuracy and reconcile payroll records to the retirement system of Alabama submissions monthly beginning in October of 2024. Payroll.
Yeah, what was wrong?
The retirement system called me and made me change the percentage in the computer, so they're not gonna add up.
Okay.
So,
All right, so I'm gonna ask an open-ended question here because it seems to me that we might, I know, I heard that through the meeting that the utility board hired a part-time bookkeeper to help out with QuickBooks. And I'm asking this council the same question, do we need to hire a part-time to help Danielle? Temporarily, even, there may be, if there's an easier way to get bank statements into QuickBooks, I don't know, I'm not a QuickBooks expert.
Let's give her a month to see how much time it actually takes.
Okay. Well, Danielle, and you feel free to, as well, if there's something that you feel like you need help with, or would make your job easier on QuickBooks, by all means, let us know, and we'll be glad to.
I have a support number, I can call them. They help me. The auditors help me as well, so if I have any kind of questions.
All right.
Thank you, Danielle, for doing that and
Yes.
keeping up with everything like you're doing. We appreciate it.
That's all I have.
Dana?
I've got two things. First of all, regarding the construction of the new facility, there is a substantial amount of savings that have come up. We don't know exactly how much that's going to entail. And because there's such a great discrepancy for what was bid and what will be the final amount, I recommend to the council that we reject all bids, put it back out to bid, because I think we're gonna get a better price this second time around to make sure that it's going to, give us the best price out there. And I think if we do that, it will alleviate some of the pressures upon the council, and it will help us in the long run to achieve what we want. It's getting the price manageable for the city.
You're putting that in form of a motion.
I am.
Is there a second?
I have questions. Why would we have to put it out to bid again if you got it down to a reasonable thing? Could they not adjust to what the savings you found based on the people who we've already given bids to?
I think because of the letter that we received from that company, that they are concerned about our ability to pay, and that has already caused them concerns about community based upon what transpired with the utility board, and that this is a matter of putting it back out for bids so that we don't have to put the money in all in one lump sum in escrow. And it's going to cause a lot more work on our part if we allow them to dictate to us that it should be an escrow and we have to sign for everything. And we don't have anybody particular that could stay on the project all the time. Although I'm going to be the intermediary, I'm not going to stand out there all the time and make sure everything's done correctly. If we put it back out for bids and get bids back in, I suspect we're going to get a cheaper bid because they know that, hey, we've got them over a barrel, that, you know, we're the ones that won the original bid. But that was the original bid. It was not what it is now. The current project is at least $1 million difference than what we originally had. And I think we're going to save money.
Okay, and I'm all about us saving money. I'm afraid we're gonna get the same response.
Well, if we take time and all these other little problems work out during that 4-month period it takes to rebid this project, and we get everything worked out, I don't think we'll have those issues again.
Okay.
That's based on my years of doing this kind of work, I think that we'll see that it will alleviate pressures.
Okay, Dana has made a motion. Do I hear a second? Going once, going twice. Your motion dies for lack of a second.
So that letter, I have seen a copy of it. The way I read it is their biggest interpretation, their biggest thing is the trouble with the utility board and the fact that the mayor is still the mayor of the city. Is that correct?
I think that their biggest concern is can we pay for what we're getting, what they're getting, and what they're doing? Can we pay for it? If we're having this much financial difficulty at the utility board, which is acceptable for the town of Wedowee, nonetheless, they felt like that they needed to have, some assurances, and those assurances would tie our hands substantially with financial responsibilities.
And let me ask you this, with the changes that we have made, eliminating the basement and all that, where do we stand right now?
They won't let me know, they won't give me an answer until we give them an answer regarding the letter. That's holding us hostage.
That's all the more reasons to reject all bids and start over, in my opinion. And I can't, as mayor, look at our numbers and say, yes, we can afford this project, if I don't know what the project is.
They want an answer immediately, that's what they said in their letter.
And their question is, what?
That we want assurances from the town of Wedowee that they can put it in escrow so that they can have access to the funds as needed. You know, of course, we sign off on it, but I have some problems with that.
So, I have a
I
quick
have
question.
problems with that too.
So if that is the case, that they're demanding an answer immediately, correct? So would that not be them dictating to us there? Do we
Yes.
have to answer?
Yes, and in fact, I've gotten 2 calls about it recently.
Okay.
Have you guys decided yet? Have you decided yet?
No, I'm saying, are we contractually obligated to answer?
No, we haven't signed a contract with them yet. They have won the bid, that's it. We have not signed a contract with them yet.
All right, this was before my time, that's why I asked the question. So can we not just answer them when we get ready?
Do I?
Can we not just answer them when we get ready?
Yes, we can.
That gives us time to discuss this more, for us to possibly open bids. Now I have to make a decision right here, right now.
We can. If y'all wanna put it off to the working session, we can do that.
We had somebody here after that wanted to
Do
say
you have a
something.
comment?
I did, excuse me, I'm sorry. This is my first council meeting in a while, but what project are we talking about?
The new city hall.
New
It's
city.
going up here next to the plans are in the mayor's office. It's going up here where the old hospital was.
It will also include the police station, so it's a municipal building.
Okay.
And do you have anything else?
Yes, we've got a bit of a problem that will be raising its head, soon. We are responsible to make people aware and know of our, like people that apply for a liquor license or things like that. And since we don't have the paper anymore, that we can put that in, we need to make some adjustments, and I've addressed that in the policies and procedures that we're gonna be talking about. And we can address that in the policies and procedures to provide, notification, where to apply that, where to, make that notification and notice. So, because the paper no longer here, we have our hands tied.
We do. And I think we can probably advertise in 3 public places, but I just never have thought that was very effective.
And normally, and I noticed what Ronald did last night, it was at their city hall at, what was it? City Hall,
I don't remember specifically the 3 places, but it was 3 city-owned
buildings, yeah. The police department, maybe, and one other location. But, you know, who's gonna look at those?
Tim, are you still gonna put notices like that in your online?
Like my answer to this question specific requirements because they vary based on what it is you're advertising. Different it varies from municipalities to the county to bankruptcy. I mean, it just depends on what it is. But if you're required to put it in 3 public places, I would assume that my website, which is still highly trafficked and read, would still satisfy one of those requirements, if it's satisfactory to the council. But I don't know that for sure.
Will that cost us anything?
It would be less than what it would have been in print.
Brent, right?
It would be a savings for you, but I would still need a little something
Sure.
for that, yeah.
Of course. I see that what we've got is no longer is it a print situation, and that's what it says in our bylaws.
Right.
That it's print, so now we're not gonna have that anymore, so we need to address that.
We'll have a long work session. Is that it?
Yes, all for me.
DJ?
Just a couple of things. The issue with the tree falling on the power line in my neighborhood, that was taken care of. Those trees are gone. I had mentioned about the speed bumps. One of my constituents said that 2 speed bumps is not enough. They want another. So I opened up that can of worms, I guess.
Where do they want it?
They want one by the middle school, another one a little further down, a little past the Marable House, and then one right there where the old laundromat is.
Okay.
That
You
means-
didn't put any of those in yet.
No. I did speak with Robbie about it and Tyson, and Mrs. Harris said that she would sign for one. I didn't know if I could sign for them, so she said she would.
You mentioned Robbie. For those of you that don't know, Robbie's son Trey was in a bad accident. When was that?
Saturday.
Saturday. And he had another surgery today. He's had 2 or 3, primarily on his foot. I think he really had a
Sorry, too.
bad deal. That's why he's not here tonight. Something on you, that's all right. Pam?
Alright, so, I think the invoices were turned in from the Merch Association for the, fish drop and the tree lighting. The stage for that, I think they've been turned in, because that was in the minutes, and I think you turned those in. Let's see. I had something I was gonna say, it kinda left me, so I wanna hear from Lance on what's going on in the rec department. How's it going?
That's good. We started baseball practice and we'll start games in April 6th.
Awesome. And so were you able to do what you needed to do the last time you were here? It was painting the bathrooms, was that right, or something?
All of that's been done.
It's all been done?
Yeah, it's all been done. Yeah.
Awesome.
How many you got signed up for baseball? Baseball, softball, and the whole deal?
I don't know the number off the top of my head. I'm gonna say it's around 150 total.
Wonderful.
We're down a little bit from last year as far as number of teams, but the number of kids is still roughly the same. So, we had a big group last year that went on to high school, and that's why. So.
I just wanted to take the time to say this. My son is Coach Lawrence, and this guy is passionate about what he does. He should be commended for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
If nothing more than the fact that he takes my kid out of my hair.
You said it.
And I only had 2 other things. One, Rob's here. Rob, do you have anything for the fire department? Do you need anything?
We're good, you guys have always supported us and gotten us what we need. I did wanna sort of give some recognition and show appreciation to the Coosa Valley RC&D Council. We applied for a communications grant, some $13,000. Of course, you never exactly get what you ask for, but they did award us $8,108.89. we were still able to get the radios that we needed by going to, believe it or not, a racing company.
The what company?
A
A racing company. And, you know, you get the fire service, emergency service out of the equation, and it gets the price down sometimes. Same radios, great customer service. It was a mail order type deal, but I just wanted to publicly show our appreciation for the RCMG Council. $8,000 we saved.
And Ron is the fire chief, if anybody doesn't know that person. And I had one other, and this just popped in my head, so so I'm gonna ask this question. Back to the employee insurance situation, do we have open enrollment every year that everyone has to look at and sign off on what their, insurance is for the upcoming year?
Well, the town pays for the employee insurance, so no.
Okay. Okay.
So they don't have to, they don't have open enrollment for the family piece of it.
No.
Okay.
Anything else from council? Anything move forward? They've been called, you notice a little ribbon around them. I thought we'll get more pressure on them. I saw it today and I thought, I'm gonna hear from that. Anything else? Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you.
It looked like all the ambulances were spread